Thomas E. James, and I left the service as a damage controlman, 3rd class. They were pretty decent because one of the things that we did, the carpenter shop, the sheet metal shop built ductwork. We got air conditioning just for the berthing compartments. And we covered all the ductwork with foam rubber so that condensation wasn't dripping all over the place. And I always made sure that I got a top bunk, because if you had a lower bunk, people would step on your rack and make your sheets dirty and climb up, this way. And I also kept my shoes and socks up on the I-beam overhead. So in the morning, whenever it was time to get up, I could get my socks on real quick, put my shoes on, bail out, and head for my locker and get dressed, because everybody was, the passageways were so narrow that you could hardly move. It was best to get out of there and get dressed. And when we had morning muster every day, they counted heads and gave us any orders they had, but they always made sure everybody was back on board before we started the work day. Well, you just had you had the dock, the doors didn't go to the ceiling, and for watertight integrity, there was at least a foot threshold you had to step over. So I don't remember ever getting, banging into anything. The steps or ladderways were very steep. They had chains for railings. That was an unpleasant job. They had stainless steel sheets behind the steps to catch the dirt. And you would have to kneel on the steps and then put the brush through the treads and sweep the dirt down off of the metal catch pan behind, and then clean it all up at the bottom. I made a few boo-boos. I was telling the guys, I can't remember how. I ended up on the bridge with the captain, and I had a set of sound-powered headphones, and I was supposed to plot. We were simulated war exercise, and I was supposed to plot things on a plexiglass sheet. And I had no training. Again, I really don't know how I ended up there, but I know that the captain realized pretty quickly that I really didn't know what I was doing. And he was kind enough to tap me on the shoulder and say, "Son, you don't know what you're doing, do you?" "No. And I'll get you a relief." And I never did that job again. I was on an anchor detail where we had a wheel to tighten the brake to slow down the anchor chain. And the bosun's mate was giving me the signal to release the brake so that the anchor would go, and I released it too far. And the anchor took off, and all those big links of chain came up what it calls chain storage, and came up out of there at sublight speed. All the dirt, dust, and rust was flying everywhere, and I was going like crazy, and finally got it stopped. But then they had to winch all that excess chain back into the chain storage. I was reprimanded for my boo-boo.